When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. Now this is a redo of a prior series. I just forgot what I had planned for it and the future notes I had for it. So I decided just to redo it. There wasn't too many episodes there weren't too many parts already made, so I might as well, so let's just get right into this. Monsters has always been part of the world. They predate humanity. When the humans were still during their caveman ages, the monsters were building cities into mountains during that time of the early stages of humanity. The monsters all agreed upon keeping their existence top secret in case the humans ever evolve enough to be a threat. As time passed, as a Hydra was born with purple scales. The first act this new type of Hydra did was eat all of her siblings. By doing so, increases the survival of her of her being. As the very first Void Hydra was gaining strength to venture into the world to put a mark on the planet called Earth. Short pause. I'm gonna explain a little bit about the Hydra race in general. They're a all-female race. They don't have any male in their species, regardless of what type of Hydra you are. As the Hydras have a unknown ability to be able to breed with any of the other race, regardless of it's a male or female. Many of the monster clans are curious about that, but it's a well-kept secret that the Hydras really do not tell other monsters. Many of the Hydra families are very secretive about their race. Let's get back into the story. When humanity was starting to build civilizations all over the world, the monsters slowly the monsters went into deep slumber in their cities that are in different type of mountains around the world. Majority of them are in Japan, in Mount Fuji. They made Mount Fuji their home and created cities inside it. As all of them went into a great slumber, leaving only one monster awake, one purple Hydra, that's been resisting the spell that they cast for all monsters to go into a great sleep. As you see a young girl with black hair and pigtails walking down the street while everything's on fire, as she sees a couple of bandits running towards her. She never once glanced over to the to the insects. They were unimportant, so she completely ignored their existence, as the young girl seems to be around the age of 6 or 7. I'm going to make it a little bit older. Let's say she's about 10 years old. I've always found this city quite lovely. It's far more beautiful when it's on fire. Look at all the tasty treats scattered all about running in a panic. I could probably eat a couple of them before they even noticed. I should I should probably I should probably behave myself. I'm on a diet after all. Human flesh is quite delicious, but I can't spoil myself right now. As the Hydra named Izumi that she took upon herself when she met a curious human. She's walking further down the street until she stumbled upon a bunch of humans from Japan, all all having green hair with green eyes, bunched up as a bunch of bandits are about to kill them, every single member of the family. Izumi immediately created several void spheres in mid-air. One snap of her fingers, all of the black's void spheres go through all their hearts at the same time as all of them, well, fall down to the ground dead. As the family of green hair family, they immediately cower in her presence. They know who she is, or what she is. You have no fear from me, little humans. I came here looking for trustworthy humans. I can feel the great slumber is taking me over. I'm resisting as much as I can, but eventually I'm going to fall in a slumber. And considering the other ones are already in it, no matter. I find it strange, humans from your region coming all the way out here. And I could tell you are warriors, judging by your katanas attached to your hip. And I found your human features quite interesting. I like the color of green, so I decided to save you. And I decided I will take your family under my protection. All I ask in return, that your family guard me while I go into my slumber. As the green hair family from Japan really have no choice. They know full well if this specific Hydra, if they refuse, she would kill them all on the spot. So the family is extremely grateful for that, for this Hydra to save their family. So they agreed, even though she has her own agenda. The family led her back to their compound in Japan, in a quite humongous compound, with everyone having green hair and green eyes. After years of spending time at the compound, she finally succumbed to the spell that was cast by one of the higher members of the one or several of the higher members of the monster clans. Most likely a dragon or two, and the elves. There also seems to be they seem to be a part of their little alliance, little council they formed with all the different clans of the monsters that are at least intelligent enough to think. During her slumber, the human race evolved, building more intricate buildings, slowly cities. In the reemergence, or not the reemergence, the emergence of quirks, the rest of the monsters of the monster clans during this age slowly integrated into the civilization in Japan. They eventually revealed themselves to certain humans that are in charge of the whole country, so they don't stir any mass panic on the general population. They explain their interests in integrating with the rest of humanity. They prove that they have no ill will towards them or don't want to start any trouble. They just want to live their lives. So the humans and the monsters came up with a plan. So it won't cause any suspicion or doubt. As they would label any one of the monsters that would openly integrate into the city would have a mutation quirk of some kind. Their plan set, they set it in motion immediately, getting the monsters slowly integrated into the city. They slowly started to allow monsters to enter UA to become heroes. So many heroes and people in charge of the government are monsters. But then the villains' attacks began, devastating a lot of human and lesser monsters. They just want to have a peaceful life by a symbiotic relationship with the humans. But with this human calling himself all for one, is put a lot of kinks in the plan. Izumi woke up from her slumber sometime before Nana's birth, before she went into UA and became an extremely respected hero. As you see, Izumi, much older, wearing some sort of black pajamas, waking up out of her bed. As she stretches out, through stretch when she just woke up, she's she's been surprising herself that she didn't immediately go off destroying things like she would normally do when she first woken up from a long slumber. But she slowly decided to not do it because it seems like things have changed in the world. So she immediately changed her tactics, making sure she doesn't do any aggressive moves like she has done in the past. She decided to coexist with this current humanity. Even though she eventually figured out that humanity, at the most part, don't even know about monsters. That have no clue their next door neighbor might be a monster in disguise. Izumi spent her time with her human vessels. The years progress as the family gets richer and richer. They no longer live in the city. They live in a huge compound outside of the city limits. Izumi is quite content on her lifestyle, especially when little Inko was born. She adored the girl instantly, always spending time, every woken moment, with the little Inko. Izumi even taught Inko some magic when when she found out that she was quite adept to it. Izumi couldn't help but be proud of the little human. She's a quite talented for a human in magic. She was She hasn't seen someone with such potential since the days of Merlin. After the death of Inko's mother and father, Izumi took a more hands-on approach when it comes to Inko. So she started to raise Inko. Izumi has always treated Inko as like a little sister. Izumi does connect more with the girl than the rest of the family. She's friendly with all of them, but she has more of a connection towards the girl. She has a pure heart, and that's hard to find in humans, so Izumi's a little bit of a protective when the girl is growing up. Many years has gone by as you see Izumi watching television. As she's watching one of the heroes on television, this one she's been keeping an eye on, jumping up the ranks with extremely powerful telekinesis. As you see Inko taking down a villain, Izumi picked up the remote and shut off the television after the broadcast was cut, as she has a smirk on her face. I think she turned out pretty well. I have no doubt she will jump the ranks in no time. Izumi hasn't had any contact outside of the family, so Izumi presumes that she's never told Principal Nezu of her existence. She doesn't really care if they find out or not. It's not like they could do anything to her or any of the monsters. They would, if they tried, they would all die, and she will not bat an eye. Izumi spend rest of the days reading books in the library that's in the main house, or main house in the compound. As the door bursts open, as she sees, some time has passed. As the door bursts open, as she sees Inko walk in with a sorry expression, like she didn't want to ask this. As Izumi raised her eyebrow, "What can I do for you? I just saw you work on the television earlier this morning." Inko stares at her big sister slash mother figure. She still can't imagine how lucky she is that she's been at 25. Well, she's been at the age of 25 since she was 11. She presumes that being a Hydra, that she doesn't age normal like the rest of her family and humanity in general. You know how every time we spend time together outside of the house into the city, you always take that form of a little girl? Yes, I'm aware. Well, my colleagues cornered me and I kind of panic, and I kind of told them you were my daughter. And one thing led to another, and we kind of got invited to dinner at Midnight's place. And she kind of made it perfectly obvious that she wasn't going to take a refusal. That could actually work in my favor. I'll play along. I can revert my age, permanently, to my appearance, the form that I use when traveling outside of the compound, so no one gets too suspicious. I still prefer to be unknown with the rest of the monsters that have integrated with humanity, but I can't keep myself holed up in the compound all the time. And this is probably the best course of action to integrate myself. You're not angry? Of course not. Something something like this is trivial. It doesn't really bug me. It was going to happen sooner or later. Whew, thank God, I was stressing out. I was stressing out of this. Sorry. I was stressing out over this. Relax, Inko. Everything will be fine. Like I said, this has been long overdue. How old did you tell your colleagues? So I know what appropriate age I said revert myself. I'm still curious about this reverting your age thing, but about 6 or 7 years old. That would match up perfectly when I took some time off from hero work. People would believe that I took some time off because I was pregnant. And I could always say that your father died before you were born. Many people would probably ask stupid questions like that. And the fact that our family is very secretive, so it would all add up. I do not expect anything less from from you after all. I train you myself. Very well. As purple gas begins to emanate off of Izumi, she was engulfed into the purple smoke. She generally, slowly, morph, de-age her body into the age of the current age she's looking for, as her clothes are slowly adjusting to her body with her small stature. As the smoke, as the smoke finally dissipated, as you see, she's reverted her age back to 7 years old. Wait, it just came to. Wait, I just thought of it. Sorry, let's try it again. If wait, it just came to me. I might have to. As she was cut off before she could say anything else, as Inko has a smirk on her face. You are correct. You're going to have to attend school like a normal human and your typical normal monster, like everyone else. Well, I'm not looking forward to this one bit. It's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. Most likely, Lady Izumi. On that note, I probably should get used to calling you mother in public. This is a very interesting switch of sides of things. After all, I did raise you. The role reverse is quite interesting. You should probably leave soon. We don't want to be late. As she picked up Izumi in her arms and went out to the front door, then eventually got into her vehicle, then drove off into the city, where Lady, Midnight is, Midnight is living in like the more richer area. Not where, like, it's not near Momo's place, but it's not common area for anyone to venture into. Like the suburbs and shit. As they finally got to the house, Inko rang the doorbell. As Midnight stepped out of her front door and stepped aside for them to walk in. Just in time for dinner. Why don't you two come inside? And this must be your daughter. I've been hearing so much about. She's adorable. Sweetheart? Been down to her been down to her eye level. As she simply says Izumi with a fake smile. Nice to meet you, Izumi. Let's get you some juice. Izumi tested her patience for the next 3 hours. After dinner, Izumi was waiting in the car for Inko to say goodbye to her friend that she works with. Izumi waved midnight goodbye through the window with a fake smile as Inko got into the car. Well, that went better than I expected. Indeed, that was interesting experience. So where are we going to sorry. Where are we going now? I take it we're not going back to the compound? No. I have a house. It's best if you it's best as sorry, it's best for people to believe that we're just a mother and daughter. To to keep your cover to keep your cover and make sure no one discovers your true heritage. Like we're nothing but a happy family. Me being a single mother, raising her daughter. I do see the logic in that. Very well, mother. I do apologize. You're going to be stuck in that form for a while. You don't need to worry about that. I didn't just I didn't just change my appearance with magic. I reverted myself back to my child form, child age. There's no way to revert back to my original state. I will begin to age normally. I designed this spell to match the human rate of aging until until I hit 20. Then I'll stop aging completely. I could easily I could easily explain this like I could easily explain this telling them I have some sort of special quirk that perverts it extends my life. I didn't know Hydras have that sort of ability. Every Hydra has the potential to unlock this ability. I've only reverted my age off a couple times during my long life. Especially during your species' primitive age. Amazing. With that type of ability, you could in theory live forever as long as you don't get killed. Precisely. And on top of that, killing a Hydra is not a very easy task. We're nowhere near immortal. But that said, we can come from back. Sorry, we can come back from most things. Now that I'm stuck in this form of a 7-year-old normal girl, I will only have half of my power. I'm not as powerful I was before I reverted back to my original form. My body currently can't handle the mass power that I have access to. So I seal my power into different seals. Well, that said, I probably will enjoy having birthdays. And I do like presents. So might as well I should make a bad situation to whatever enjoyment I could get out of it. As the car stops in front of a house, so this is where we'll be staying. As Izumi got out of the car to see a 3-story house, as she walked in with Inko, the moment the moment she stepped into the house, she went exploring immediately, from room to room, checking out every corner and cranny of the house, getting a feel of the atmosphere. She could extremely well. The first first thing she sensed walking into the place was a cozy feeling, warm and welcoming. As we time skip, as you see Izumi in a school uniform in her first day of middle school, as she has a as she puts on a fake smile while she's in public with other humans. As you see a slight twitch above her eye, of her eyebrow. It was so fast and quick and gone that rest of the class didn't took notice. As she took the last name of her acting mother, considering their roles are reversed, she find great humor in that. So she took the clan that's been protecting her as her last name, the Midoriya's. There's not going to be a Sashi in this, so I'm just using the last name for convenience, mostly. So, okay, let's continue forward. She could tell there's several humans and monsters in the classroom after introducing herself. After she walked in and introduced herself to the rest of the class. That's why she was irritated. After introducing herself, she walked back to the back of the class to the empty seat right next to the window. Izumi is just listening to the teacher class. After a long drawn out day, she walked out of the school as she sees herself in as she sees Metropolis. For about a year now, before she attended her first year of middle school. Basically, I'm saying she moved here a year ago before she started middle school. Inko was scouted by Wonder Woman, by the League, and her salary would increase extremely, considering the League's benefactor, Bruce Wayne. She's quite happy with the state of things when she took the League's offer. When she finally got out of Japan, because people were getting suspicious. So they moved their way to America. They moved their compound entirely over to America as well, in the forest, outside Metropolis, and between the Metropolis and Gotham. Inko kept the league. Inko kept the league separate from her personal business. There is no reason to reveal Izumi heritage. It's not that she doesn't trust them. It's about duty to her family. Her family, the Midoriyas, has been protecting Izumi identity for generations. This will be the this would be the one oath she would not break. Even though Izumi is no longer caring about if someone finds out that she's a Hydra, she's already getting adept to what power she can use in her current form. She's nowhere near she's nowhere near her full power, but she will be slowly by slowly. More time she spends, the more she ages, the more power she has access to. With her body maturing, she'll, like I said, slowly gain access to more power. It's just a winning game for her now. And it's not like she's not training. She trained with her physical strength and magic. She's always been more. She's also sorry. She's always been more focused on her magic, her Hydra magic. It's a very, it's a very temperamental form of magic. It's very unstable, and with her alignment with void energy, it's very temperamental. And she created a form of magic that's called void magic for many years. She's always finding new ways to adapt it in combat. So this is a refreshing change of pace. Sometime later, Izumi made her way home as to greet Inko. Inko greet Izumi. She's been enjoying her role reverse, acting like her mother every day. I've been meaning to ask, Mother, how did this humans even form this Justice League in the first place? I was curious about that too. So I asked the same question. When I first sorry. Well, when I first joined the league a few years ago, Batman told me how they formed their team. It was necessary to form a team on Earth to stop a powerful invasion by this unknown alien life form called Imperium. That's all I know so far, considering how shielded off Japan is compared to the rest of uh, the nations. Considering the monster population that are hiding in plain sight with the rest of the human population in Japan. They even they've became more closed off than before. That's probably most likely the monster council cause, if anything else. If I remember right, the council was still a thing before my great slumber. Things have changed since my time. At the same time, they stay the same. Well, I'm gonna go to my room and do my homework. Of course, I'll fetch you when dinner's done. Sumi nodded and made her way up to her room to do her homework. That will almost likely not, almost likely not take her only a couple seconds to finish it. As she expected, it only took her about a 2 minutes and a half to finish the homework. Izumi is waiting impatiently. So she closed the book that she was reading and head downstairs, only to see a well-dressed, bald human, with several armed men wearing all the same suit, standing right by each other. Visitors, Mother. I take it they're friends of yours? Not friends, but acquaintance. Acquaintance. What do you want, Mr. Luthor? I do apologize for the interruption, or the erupt visit. I wanted to have a private meeting with you without the rest of the league. You are though you're you are the only one of very few of the members of the league that will outright attack me on sight. And who is this pretty young lady over here? This is my daughter Izumi. A pleasure, Izumi. If we're gonna have this sort of conversation, we might as well have it over dinner. I just I just finished dinner. Why don't you come and stay and Then we'll talk. I would love to. Thank you, Miss Inko. Sorry, Miss Midoriya. I should have plenty for you too, boys. So why don't you sit down and grab yourself a seat? Dinner should be served in a couple of seconds. So, what do you want to talk about, Lex? I'm all ears. My satellites has detected Brainiac. He's on his way back to Earth. I figured it would be easier to inform you than the Kryptonian or the Bat. You're the least hostile member of the League towards myself. I might have my difference with the Kryptonian, but my main priority is always and always will be to keep humanity safe. You can trust me on that at least. Brainiac, you say? I've heard that name before, by Superman. He's supposed to be some sort of hybrid between some sort of humanoid alien mixture with machinery. He's more of a sentient intelligence than a human anymore. He does have flesh, but it's mostly machinery. And with his ability to take over technology, my power suit is completely useless against him. I found out the hard way when I fought him the first time he was on Earth. Let's just say I didn't enjoy the aftermath. The whole time they were having their little conversation about Brainiac, Izumi never once paid them once attention to the conversation, as she was too busy on her phone. I don't mind bringing this up to the League's attention, as long as you have digital proof. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time, Lex. Despite how you operate, I do see you have good intentions. You just take it to the extremes. Who do you take me for, Miss Inko? Of course I have such proof with me. As he plays some sort of flash drive, that flash drive have everything on it. Recordings, data that I've collected. Even plenty of pictures. As much as this topic is interesting, I'm gonna go back to my room, Mom. Thank you for dinner. And it was a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Luthor. Izumi watched her play and put it into the dishwasher as she bowed to everyone. Then she left the room. Your daughter seems to be a lovely girl, quite polite. A little strange though, but a good kid nonetheless. At least that's what I could tell from just meeting her alone. Don't know the half of it. Like my daughter, she's very sorry. You don't know the half of it. My daughter is very unique. I take it the young lady knows you're part of the League? That she does. I don't keep I don't try to keep everything away from my daughter. I keep my personal life away from my hero life. She might know what I do, but none of them know of her existence, and I'd like to keep it that way, Lex. Of course, Miss Midoriya. I do understand and respect your decision to want to keep your family safe. That's only part of the reason that I want my personal life and my hero career separate. Don't be fooled by my daughter's presence or her looks. She is quite power and vicious when she gets irritated. I separate the two between my hero career and my personal life in case the unlikelihood of a villain crossing paths with my daughter. If she gets irritated, that's the last thing. She'll kill him. My daughter doesn't know how to hold back or constrain herself. Interesting. I should be going, as he looked at his watch. Thank you for dinner, Miss Midoriya. I'll let myself out. Come on, boys. Lex Luthor said goodbye to Inko as he walked out of the house. I want you lot to keep an eye on the girl. There's something about her is just bugging me. I find her very strange. She didn't even react of news of Brainiac that's heading to Earth. Troubling. Keep eye on the girl, but do it from afar. As Lex get in the car and dial a number on his phone. Slade, I have a job for you. Car drove off. You see Izumi staring out of the window down at Lex, getting into the limousine. He's going to be trouble, Mother. I have no doubt, my lady. I'll stay out of this Brainiac business, as long as you end it fast. I'll allow this league to take care of it. I'm not going to lie, I'm interested in fighting this Brainiac, but I'm not that interested to go out of my way to encounter this interesting life form you've described. If you need my help, just say the word and I'll take care of it. Even if I reverted back to this form, I'm nowhere helpless. I believe I'm old enough to access more powerful. Sorry, I believe I'm the appropriate age to have access to more of my power. I'll take care of it, even if I have to reveal myself. Thank you, my lady. If I need your help, I'll be sure to contact you right away. After all, I can't allow some robotic alien creature to interrupt my daily life. I'm quite enjoying this time. This, I'm quite enjoying this time. This experience. This interesting role reverse. I'm quite enjoying being your daughter. My actual mother wasn't really the mothering type. After all, I ate her. To prove my dominance. Then a few years later, my father. Well, not father, but mother. Totally forgot they're all female species. So, anyways, a few years later, she killed her grandmother. Okay, ate her grandmother. So that's what she said in that part. Okay, let's continue forward. I've done many things that I'm not proud of, but one thing I don't regret for even a second is rescuing your family when I first came upon them. I know I don't say this much, but I value your trust and loyalty. That's hard to find in humans nowadays. Humanity is very greedy nowadays. Always trying to get further, backstabbing each other to get further into life. Very amusing to watch, actually. According to our records in the family history, if it, if you didn't intervene, I probably wouldn't even be born. My family my family takes my family takes protecting you very seriously. You're the second mother. You're like a second mother to me. When my parents died, you filled that role. I can't thank you enough for that. I'm actually quite enjoying this. The I'm quite enjoying this role now, being your mother. You're so adorable when you're younger. I'm gonna probably head out to the I'm gonna probably head out to the league and give the information. Keep your phone handy. If I get in trouble, I'll give you a call. Very well. Be careful, mother. As Izumi has a smirk on her face. Will do, daughter. As she returned the same smirk that her daughter, well, Izumi has. You know, Lady Izumi, you probably would enjoy joining one of the younger teams, like the Teen Titans, or judging by your power, you would probably get recruited to the Young Justice. Just keep that in mind. Don't outright refuse it at first. Just mull it over. I'll keep that in mind, and I'll think about it. I'll be back late, most likely before you go to bed. Sorry, most likely after you go to bed. Stay safe, Inka. I'll try. As she walked out of the room, a few weeks has passed. Izumi noticed Inko's been working with the League more and more in preparation for the arrival of Brainiac. Izumi is sitting in the kitchen, drinking some tea. She made it in the kitchen, and she made her way into the living room with it, searching through the channels on the television. She sees as on every channel is a broadcast of the footage of Brainiac arrival as the mothership, the skull mothership of Brainiac, starts to drop Brainiac bots. As she's sipping her tea while watching the news. I really should stay out of this, but I know better. I'm going to be drag into this eventually. Might as well take a gander. As she sipped her cup and put it on the table, as she shut the television off and walked out the front door of her house, as she's calmly walking down the street while everyone else is running from their lives, from the Brainiac bots that are in the area. As the Brainiac bots shift their arms into blasters, as they're firing on the civilians, as Izumi simply says one word or two words, chain lightning. As the chain of lightning spell shot out, hitting all the Brainiac bots that were surrounding the civilians. As the robots explode, as she calmly walks over the scrap of metal through the smoke that was left after the explosion, Izumi saw a bunch of her neighbors injured. Izumi and simply said heal as she walked past the injured humans only for them to start glowing up with a bright green aura outlining their body as their wounds instantly heal like they weren't even there in the first place. Izumi saw a whole bunch of Brainiac bots heading towards her direction as she lifted up both of her hands as she shift two as she lifted up two parked cars and began throwing them at the Brainiac bots with telekinesis is one of her natural abilities she got from one of her Hydra heads. That Hydra head is the most calmer one of all of them. As medium-sized explosions go off from the car being tossed at the robots, either by making physical contact with the Brainiac bots, or when Izumi throws out purple fire, igniting the car into an explosion, or making lesser laser fire coming from her hand. That's pure purple. Either way, the results were the same by the cars exploding and destroying the robots. As pieces of scrap metal decorate the streets where Izumi's at. When Izumi got to the main road leading deeper into Metropolis City, she knows the increase of bots are just going to increase the further she goes in. And she was right as she sees rows and rows of these robots. The moment she passed two cars with some sort of small device underneath them, as it starts to go off, as the beeping starts to increase, until both of the cars on both sides of her explode, as Izumi barely had enough time to activate her void barrier, consuming the explosion completely. As when the explosion went off, the barrier or dome of void energy slowly dissipates. She was a bit irritated at the attempt to ruin her outfit. She doesn't want to ruin these clothes. Immediately, Izumi got surrounded by the Brainiac bots. When she lowered her shield, Izumi only said two words: "Shadow Impale." As shadow spikes burst out of the shadows of the Brainiac bots behind them, tearing the metal apart, or penetrating the outer shell of the robots. Izumi was gathering a small energy orb in her hand that was made from pure magic. As it formed into a pure magical orb that's pitch black, with strands of purple mixed into it. As when the magical orb finally formed in her hand, she tossed it in the air. As she walked past several of the Brainiac bots and simply uttered chain lightning, destroying the portion that's in her way. As the small magical orb finally went off, as there's a bright flash of light, Izumi's already out of the radius of the blast. The blast could vaporize car street signs in a part of the buildings in the radius, like they never existed. As you see some houses after the explosion died down, you can see half of the buildings like missing a part of their structure. A fire hydrant was cut in half, like someone just took the other part of it out, ripped the other part off like it was nothing. It was like a clean cut. Izumi didn't even bother looking behind her. But regardless, it seems like I'm getting closer. I'm curious about this Brainiac life form. Hopefully he's fun. According to Mother's intel, he's supposed to be some sort of twisted collector, capturing and shrinking down cities of different civilizations all over the galaxy. Izumi heard someone screaming. As she looked up, there was a bunch of Brainiac bots hanging a couple humans upside down over the edge of the building, holding onto their ankles, ready to drop them. With incredible speed, she caught each of the humans before they hit the ground. I suggest you to get a move on. It's not safe here. Get out of here. Izumi jumped up and reached the top of a roof with one leap, as she's standing on top of the roof of the building. As she morphed her hands, as her skin turned into purple scales, as her fingernails become claw-like, as she rushed forwards after she morphed her hands into her Hydra claws, As her claws rip through the robots without any resistance. As one of the robots tried to escape Izumi, Izumi caught it in just in time to activate a gravity spell, increasing the gravity, making it fall back to the ground hard, making the roof of the building crack a little bit from the impact of the forceful impact as the gravity being increased, forming into a digging into the basically the roof. As the Brainiac bot struggles to try to get up, but he can't because the gravity is above his robot strength. Izumi extended her hand out towards the robot as she deactivated the gravity spell. As she crushed the robot into a small metal ball from condensing her telekinesis, using her telekinesis, crushing the robot. Then she saw a metal. Then she created it into a metal ball that hovered around her hand. As she grabbed onto it, put a bit of magic into the metal ball, and used all her strength to throw it into the building. As the small metal ball, kept flying towards buildings, flying right into the buildings, not even stopping once. When Izumi noticed the metal ball that she threw was about to hit Brainiac in the mothership. As the small metal ball started to emanate purple magic aura around it, as Izumi simply said detonate, as a purple magical explosion goes off when the ball finally made contact with the ship. As the ship crashed into the ocean. Better, that thing was hideous. I really want to stare at that in the sky all day. Now let's go find this Brainiac fellow. Izumi jumped from the Izumi begins to jump from rooftop to rooftop until she got closer to the main battle. As she could hear the sounds of battle getting closer and closer, the further she goes into the city. As she found herself standing on top of a building, gazing down on the bottom street to see the Justice League fighting Brainiac, as Brainiac is throwing his tendrils at the League, trying to impel them on the blunted weapons that I have on at the other end of the tentacles or tendrils. Give you a better picture of it, they're more like spikes. And they're infused with kryptonite, so Superman's having a hard time. Let's continue, guys. As Izumi is watching Brainiac, trying to impel one of the League with a spike at the end of his tendril, Izumi could tell the tendril is made of some sort of metal with the green part she's unsure of, but she notices making the one with the cape with the S on their chest seems to be weakened. Short pause. I don't know if he has this, but I'm giving him anyways. I'm giving Brainiac telekinesis because it makes sense in my mind. He would have something like that. Just ahead of time, or ahead of... give you a heads up, basically. I don't know how you lower life forms managed to damage my ship, but no matter. Your resistance is futile. You will fall to Brainiac. Your resistance is meaningless. I will take what I need from this planet, then I will destroy it, and add a few cities to my vast collection. Superman bolted towards Brainiac as he landed a hit across his face, while Inko grabbed one of his tendrils, then slammed him to the ground. Only for Inko was barely managed to stop one of the sharp green spikes coming from the tendril, mere inches from her face. Diana saw that Inko was in trouble, so so she had so she had her way over to her direction. As she cut the tendril off, as she hit Brainiac on the side of the head with her shield upwards, as Brainiac goes sliding backwards across the street. Wonder Woman instantly kicked Brainiac when she saw he was beginning to recover. As he goes flying into several buildings without even losing his speed, only to get hit by a purple beam out of nowhere before he got too far away. By the League's horror, they saw a girl jump off the roof. Superman tried his best to catch the girl, but he was already too late as she made a medium-sized crater into the street. Team, she's an ally. Morris, I'm her mother. My dear daughter, will you take care of this? Of course, mother. It would be my pleasure. Did I see you try to impel my mother now? That won't do. That won't do at all. Going to have to break you, mechanical man. Who are you, life form? My name is Izumi, and I am the one who took care of your little flying skull ship you had in the sky. It was hideous, so naturally I removed it. I would kindly appreciate you removing yourself from my planet and get out of my sight before bad things happen to you. You've got a lot of nerve, lower life form. And what if I don't? Please enlighten me, girl. Of course, I would be a great pleasure to enlighten you of your situation, weakling. Now I hope you do pay attention. Class is about to begin. Izumi slid backward a little bit from Brainiac trying to use his telekinesis to throw her. Interesting. So you know telekinesis, do you? Allow me to show you how to really use it. With one flick of her wrist, the alien known as Brainiac goes flying through building after building after building, not even stopping or showing any signs of any stopping anytime soon. As the League sees Izumi yank Brainiac like he's a pinball, as she's yawning like she's bored, Izumi dodged to the left. As Izumi, sorry, as Izumi rammed her elbow into the face of Brainiac across his face, making a small wind pressure from the impact because of her superior strength. Brainiac might have a form of super strength, but a Hydra is far more powerful, especially this Hydra. As Brainiac goes flying backwards a little bit from the force of her impact, when Brainiac regained his bearings and he decided to rush forwards, as the young girl only did one thing, as Brainiac got backhand across the face, as he goes flying, skidding across the ground, smashing into several buildings. Brainiac had no choice but to slam his hand into the ground to stop his momentum, stop him from skidding across the street. As there are several cracks over his robotic body. If he didn't have clone bodies to take over, he would be worried. But he's not. If this body dies, he'll come back for another. He'll come back and he'll come back and try again. Brainiac look up only to see Izumi throw a kick into his face as he gets slammed into a car, detonating it on impact. Izumi casts purple fireballs and repeatedly shot at towards Brainiac. Repeatedly, as the small purple fireballs make explosion after explosion. It's her own personal spell, exploding fireballs. Surprising Superman, Diana, and Bruce, they instantly knew that she was wielding magic. The black hair girl is using magic. You're such a disappointment. I thought you were something special, but you're nothing but a useless machine. How disappointing. Let's end this. As a purple lightning emanate from Izumi's body, as it sparkles. Emanate all out purple sparks of electricity. Emanate all throughout her body. Then Izumi disappeared and reappeared, or flashed up right in front of Brainiac, as she slammed her. Give me a second, guys. She slammed her hand into the ground. As there's a bright flash, as the ground starts to spark, as you see a spark trail heading towards Brainiac, when it made contact, Brainiac was immediately electrocuted with high bolts of electricity, purple electricity. Izumi immediately ran after Brainiac, and kick was a powerful kick aside of the head, making Brainiac go back into the car he was leaning against prior, and right through the car, right into the building behind it. When Brainiac got up, Izumi can tell he's throwing caution out of the wind, as she was quite surprised by the increased burst of speed by Brainiac, as she hit both of his fists, his fist with one of her hand, making a small shockwave. The hell are you? As Izumi red eyes churned into purple with a slit in them, as she's showing her Hydra eyes for a brief second. Brainiac caught it, but what position she in? The rest of the league can't see her eyes. You're very smart for a Tin Man to catch on so soon. Let's just say I'm on top of the food chain, my robotic friend. As Izumi tightened her grip onto Brainiac's fist, making him kneel down to one knee. Then she repeatedly to ram her knee into his chest, as she drags him up to his feet by one hand, then repeatedly to slam her fist into his stomach, making shockwave after shockwave after shockwave. When her fist made contact to Brainiac's stomach for the last time, as she decided to land her last strike. When she landed her last strike, her fist went right through his stomach, as she pulled out her hand, as she dropped Brainiac to the ground. I hate it when my new toys break. Such a drag. I guess it's only natural, as a good citizen, I should recycle this defective unit. Such a pity. Such a pity. Let's just remove from your misery, shall we? Izumi noticed Brainiac is crawling away, as Izumi planted her back of her heel, into his spine, making him not able to move. Time to die, Tin Man. It's been fun. Inko sees the charge of magical energy she's gathering up. She knows exactly what she's about to do. Inko put a hand on Izumi's shoulder. I think he's had enough. Wouldn't you agree? You're no fun, Mom. You're no fun, mother. As she deactivated her well, her process of gathering up enough energy to blast a hole through his head. I suppose so, Mother. You won this battle, but I'll be back. And for you, monster, I'm gonna kill you. How adorable. And how are you gonna do that, my robotic friend? Simply, I'll just build a new body that will be able to kill you. If you survive this. As Brainiac self-destruct his body alongside with what's left of his mothership, as Izumi immediately created a magic barrier covering herself and Inko. After the explosion went off, as when Izumi thought it was safe, Izumi deactivated the magical barrier. As the purple barrier eventually fades away. Well, that was unexpected. So how do you want to play this, Mother? I'll handle the league. Why don't you go home and we'll talk when we get there? Will do. Announced to Izumi and Inko, this little diversion from her boredom will put Izumi on the radar with the other monsters. She doesn't have has a friendly relationship with any of the monster clans, of the higher monster clans. They simply fear her. Even her own kin, fellow Hydras, fear the very ground she walks on. As you see as you see several hooded figures all around the world with black hoods, all all sporting some sort of purple design of a Hydra on their chests as they're all kneeling. The leader of one of the cult spoke up. Brothers and sisters, our goddess has returned. As that's where we're going to stop our story off. Hope you guys have a good night today, judging by time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.